I just want to thank the 10th Mountain Division and Fort Drum for giving us this opportunity to come and share some bread with them at their table and to take our Syracuse University football team in and show them the ropes a little bit. We've had a fantastic morning with the officers, and we're looking forward to having a little fun this afternoon with the paintball war. Right now, if anyone has any questions, I'd love to answer questions for you.
How special was this to build this, continue to build this as a team bonding activity coming up here, since 2012?
This is, for me personally, it's very big and it's very personal. I grew up on military bases, and to have an opportunity to bring our young men here and to see how this whole thing works and the responsibility, the esprit de corps that goes on in running a unit like this is big time. And I think the more time we spend around these, around our military personnel, we understand how much we really need to appreciate them, and anything that we can do to help them in the future in any way, if it's within my power, we'll definitely try to do it.
Coach, the values you learned growing up on a military base, do you apply that to your everyday coaching?
We were talking about that earlier. There was a movie that came out in 1962. I'm going to pronounce the title wrong. I think it's The Great Santini. And it came on the other night about 4 o'clock in the morning, because I'm normally up during that time. And I really believe it's a story of my life. I mean, I was a character in that movie. I really believe my dad saw that movie and just said he was going to raise his family like that. And any time that you get an opportunity to really understand what serving's all about, what that commitment's all about, the responsibility of duty, and what those young men and young women do for us, for the style of life that we have back here, not only in the United States, but all over the world. You really understand that, humble and meek are the two words that come to mind, that I'm not even worthy enough to be sitting here and talking to you about them. But it moves me. It moves me. It almost moves me to tears. This is a big deal. And I can't thank them enough for the job they do.
Coach, how come only one day this year as opposed to years past when you've been up here 3, 4, 5 days?
Well, one thing is we have it's a different system. We've got a lot of work that we've got to do. We've only been with these young men less than a year. And I was talking to one of the commanders. Once we get a year, 2 years underneath our belt and we know exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, my first responsibility is still to make sure that we're putting a football team on the field that's respectable and that we can do the things that we need to do to have a successful season. So we just don't have enough time because we're new, but as we get older at Syracuse, our time will grow here.
Coach, adding Army to the schedule later on today, coming out today, your thoughts on adding a program like that to the schedule?
2020 we get the Army, and they're fantastic. I can't be more excited. Hopefully, I will get to enjoy that. And on the sideline and not from a television somewhere. But that's my goal, is to make sure that I'm good enough to be a part of that. One of my college roommates is the head football coach at the Navy Academy, Kenny Niamatalolo. And every time that I see him, it excites me to see someone that I played college football with being able to interact with servicemen once again. So it's a big deal. Anytime you got an opportunity to play any of the armed forces, services, Navy, Air Force, Army, I think that those are big deals, and I always look forward to stuff like that. I really do.
Coach, do you have a fond memory growing up of being around this mentality and what that was like? You talked about the movie, but a memory that sticks out to you, being with your dad or around this?
The thing, I wasn't always the best kid. The thing I remember is getting stopped by MPs, military police. And you get stopped by police off base, and you're da-da-da, and you go through the constitutional laws. You get stopped by MPs on base, and it's like it's a whole new set of rules. You're not going to get arrested. They're going to just tell your dad on you. Yeah, and they're going to tell the commanding officer, and the commanding officer of that unit's going to tell the dad, and that's more trouble than getting stopped by normal police. So those type of things of being the structure, the order, the discipline that happens on these military bases. Those are the things that I think back on, and those are the things that make me smile. It was fun. It was fun growing up a military kid.
You know, when you first heard about this tradition, the partnership between SU and Fort Drum, did you instantly think this was one of the best traditions in terms of camp and college football, a team coming up to a military base and interacting with not only the soldiers but their kids as well?
You know, I've never heard of it before, actually, and which makes it unique. You know, I've been a part of a lot of different things, a lot of things that you do on camps, but never where you're in a partner with a military base and with a unit, with a famous unit, an active unit. I mean, you know, real deal, Hollifield type unit, if you get my meaning. And it's really an honor. It's special. It really is special.
Time for a couple more questions. You're only here for a day, but what kind of lessons do you hope your athletes get from being here for the day?
Well, we already got a bunch of lessons. We had lunch together. We had an opportunity for two officers to speak to our group. I got an opportunity to speak to them as well. They've interacted with servicemen at dinner, at lunch, and I think that those stories and those interactions will stay with them a long time.
Last question for Coach. Thank you, Dino.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel Morris, Commander of the 41st Engineer Battalion, who will be speaking on behalf of the 2nd Brigade Commander, Colonel Himes, and the 10th Mountain Division. Sir, if you would.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Chris Morris, and I'm the commander of the 41st Engineer Battalion, 2nd Brigade Combat Team. And really, on behalf of Colonel Scott Himes, the commander of 2nd Brigade Combat Team, I want to thank Syracuse Orange football team for coming up and providing some support to our families, working with our small football players and kind of building their fan base, and also sharing some good stories with the soldiers during the lunch period. I just want to thank the football team for coming up and providing that. I'm open for any questions you guys got.
Martin at WSYR,
Yes.
Syracuse. What do you try to instill with what's happening up here with the guys and all the families being able to take part in this with the football team?
So what are we trying to instill from?
What lessons do you want them to take out of
Okay.
something like this? I mean, the football players, it's gonna stick with them. For you guys, what are you getting out of it?
Well, actually, we're getting kind of a really good show of service. Developing the community ties with the North Country, with Syracuse and everything. Our strength of the garrison here at Fort Drum really relies heavily upon the relationship that we have off post. We can be a little island here, but we need everyone's support to really kind of pull together and make this garrison really work. And it does a really good job, this community outreach on that part.
Many of the players here are probably similar age range to some of the players who will be in a similar age range. Do you sort of hope that maybe sharing some kind of experiencing some kind of bond there are similar age, but they're on completely different lifestyle?
Well, Sergeant Major talked about this during our lunchtime group. There may be a lot of differences. We're talking about football, we're talking about the Army. We're talking about kids that are going through college and kids that are actually, soldiers, running around and deploying. But when, you kind of look at it from a little bit larger perspective, we're both on the team. We're on the Army team and they're on the Syracuse team. We're both professional athletes. Every day we wake up, we go out and we do hard physical training for a good hour and a half every single day for 5 days a week. They do the same thing as well. So there's a lot of, we're always focusing on winning, which is really what we have to do. We have to be able to fight and win our nation's wars. So I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. I could go on forever about it. But the other part too, though, when I look at the actual character aspect of it, in the Army we want to have competence, and we want to have a soldier of competence and a soldier of character. And really, we can train anybody in their job. but really the folks that we want to keep inside the military is soldiers of character. And also, a really good football team has a good, strong character, and they're going to show that by doing military service and things like that. So really, there's a parallel between the two.
Some of the children who took part in the drills earlier today, is it something that they talk about, for years to come? Like, hey, do you remember when we were running around with these guys? And I'm not sure if you're a father as of yet, but if you are, I mean, have you had your kids talk about that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I've got 3 daughters, and the kids here, you could see the excitement when they saw the football players in there, working with them, going through their drills, and they loved every minute of it. I mean, even just being in there for about 20 minutes, they come out, they were just covered in sweat. You could tell that they were putting their whole heart into it, and it's really great to see the bond with the players and also with the junior the kids going through there, and they're developing the future football players and really future leaders of our nation. That was starting today.
This is as unique of a tradition in really college football in general that you've ever seen. It seems not many programs have this type of partnership with a major military base.
No, I have not seen it in my time around, and this is a great program. It's been going on for 5 years now, and we get a lot out of it. Syracuse football team gets a lot out of it, so we're really looking forward to keep this going on in the far future, for sure.
Final questions?
Toughest question here: you're rooting for Syracuse or Army in 2023?
Well, we'll see. Last time they played, I was in the stands as a cadet in 1996, and that was a phenomenal game, phenomenal season for both programs. So I really, wish them both success in the future.
We have time for one more question.
No. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And lastly, just to wrap up, I'm going to introduce Mike Haney. He is the Vice Chancellor of Veteran and Military Affairs at Syracuse University, and he'll be able to speak to you a little bit more about the Army West Point series from the university perspective. So right now I'm going to bring up Vice Chancellor Haney.
So the first thing I'd like to do is same way the coach started off, thanking Fort Drum. This is also personally meaningful for me, this relationship. I am a veteran. I left active duty military in 2006, and I think it's absolutely remarkable what both Syracuse University and SU football have cultivated here in terms of a relationship with Fort Drum. The kids camp this morning was tremendous, and I think one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the role of family in the context of military service, particularly the role of family over the course of this post 9/11 generation. It struck me this morning watching those families, how many single mothers were there with their kids, and those mothers were there because in many cases their fathers were deployed overseas, and vice versa, honestly. So, I think the importance of this relationship with regard to really building out opportunity for military families here at Fort Drum is tremendous. My thunder has been stolen a little bit in terms of what my role was here, which was to talk about, and publicly for the first time, the announcement that is being made today that SU football will rekindle a relationship with Army. We first played Army in 1899, and over the course of the next 100+ years, there were many Saturday afternoons that Syracuse football and West Point were on the field together. That relationship faded away, if you will, in 1996, but we're proud and excited to rekindle that relationship. And importantly, it's part of a larger and very purposeful strategy at Syracuse University. When Chancellor Severud arrived, one of the things that he saw as really distinctive about Syracuse University is its history connected to the veteran and military community, its contemporary work connected to that community, and part of his commitment is to really position Syracuse University as the national example in higher education for how we engage with this community. So bringing Army back to our campus is a logical step in that direction. You know, by the time we actually get to play, I'm sure that, you know, Coach will be coming off a string of winning seasons. We probably have, 2022, probably coming off a national championship. So it'll be tough bringing them in. We'll have a shiny new dome for them to play in as well. But it's exciting. So with that, certainly any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Is there a greater emphasis on getting, old-time rivals back on the schedule, given, the nature of college football, college athletics these days with the conference realignment?
So I have to be careful. I'm the vice chancellor. I'm not the athletic director. So if I could tell you what I think, but I'm not sure that's exactly what John might think. But I do think it's important. How I framed, part of, again, bringing Army back isn't about just bringing another football team onto the schedule. It's part of building a brand, and we want our brand at Syracuse University to be associated with this community.
How long have you been trying to get this game back on the schedule?
That's another good question. That I know we've been having conversations about. It's a logical rivalry, and the idea that we are going to pack busloads of Syracuse University students and fans and drive down to West Point, and the exact opposite will be true when they bring busloads of cadets up to Syracuse. I think it's very powerful to be able to restart a good in-state rivalry with not just a top-notch football team, but a world-class institution. Anybody else for me? Thank you very much.